G'day race fans, welcome to the Roadster Rumble tonight, round number 3. Live from Hockenheim with this fantastic, incredible F1 circuit tonight. Thanks to Simworx Race Simulators, we are live with 3 race format, the sprint races, the feature race. We've got it all tonight, 4 different classes out there. Group A, B, C and D. Ready to do battle for this Roadster Rumble. The driver's just now heading into qualifying, a 10-minute lone qualifying session. And then we will get into race number 1. So I'll quickly run you through the details for tonight. And as always, I love this circuit. It's just such a fast-flowing circuit, especially for these, I guess, slower-paced cars. These little MX-5s, keeping momentum through turn 1 will be quite easy. Through then turn 2, 3, onto the back straightaway will be a little bit more tricky. And whoever can do that well and not make a meal of it is going to come out the goods, I reckon, tonight. Let's take you down to the racetrack and look at some cars currently out on the track. Jack Boyd is back with us tonight. It is lone qualifying, by the way, so when you see me flick between cars during qualifying, you'll notice that there is a gap and no other cars out on the racetrack. That's because they can't see each other, which means it's nice and even, nice and fair. You can't trip over anyone. You've got no one else to blame. And, well, that's the way they like it. Keith, thanks, mate. Welcome aboard tonight. Are you ready to rumble? Are you ready to rumble? Well, yeah, we're always ready to rumble, Keithy boy. The notes for this Season 5, round number 3. Hockenheim, of course, the GP layout. Race 1 and 2 will be a 6-lap sprint race, with race 3 being a 12-lap feature race tonight. You will need to stop for fuel in the feature race. So rolling starts again this season. 24/7 will be part of race control tonight. They'll be looking after things. Great to have them on board too. Let's get rid of the music. Let's crank up the sound of these MX-5 race cars and see if we can pick up some quick lap times as they get into what is now a quarter of the way through qualifying. So we'll turn them up. There's a lot of distant camera shots here at Hockenheim, hence why the cars aren't generally as loud as they are at some other circuits. As you can see, this camera shot, for example, if we zoom it right back, you can see it's perched up well above the barrier there, and it gets a good shot through 2 and 3, and that is a nice flow there from Wayne Losh. He's looking like he's got that dialed in nicely. So let's pick up a few drivers. I want to see some more of the Group A's. There's Caleb Patterson, and then we'll start to talk about some of the other groups that we've got out there, because I did do a little quick banner up last week to just indicate for you at home what the classes mean. So there it is. Group A and Group B are sharing the 2016 Global Cup car here in iRacing, and Group C and Group D are indicated by those colours as well. The blue, grey, red and green are in the 2010 MX-5 Cup car. So that's just to help you out, but during the race tonight, of course, I will be putting the group leaders up the top of your screen as well, so you'll see there at the moment who is leading each class. They're not necessarily in order until the times are set, and I expect Group A to be the top time once we're right into this. So anyhow, hello Keith. Let's see if anyone over on YouTube at the moment. I haven't even looked yet. We've got Joking in the house. Henry Fenson's here as well, and he says, hey Luke, hope you're well. I'm doing very good, man. My voice has come back from the weekend. It was a little bit croaky. You'll probably get croaky by the end of tonight too, but it's definitely on the way back. As we see Caleb just crossing the line now, and Boyd's put a 58.0 in, a 1 minute 58.0. Sorry, it's chopped the 1 off the time there, but that's a 1 minute 58.0. 3/10 off the pace. Patterson and Ridley's gone third. He's also 3/10 off the pace. Oliver just now puts a time up within 3/10, and Hobson, he's always a crowd favourite. Brenton Hobson for Synergy Sim Racing now goes within 0.2 of a second, so just on a 158.26 for Hobbo. Chris says, how can I get into this? Chris, there's a link in the description, and it is the Roadster Rumble. Greg Holmes is the man you want to speak to. He does a fantastic job putting this together. We're going to have probably about 60 cars again tonight, 50 or 60 cars lining up for this one, and it's incredible the way it all just fits together. And I love the format too. So the 2 6-lap sprint races to kick off the night after this qualifying, and then the 12-lap feature race at the end of the night. So Chris, get on it, mate. Always plenty of room. Michael Schreier's out there, another Synergy Sim Racing driver. You can actually see, if I flick between himself and Hobson, they're almost at identical spots on the racetrack. But being that we're in lone qualifying here, they can't see each other. Nick Wood goes to the top of the times in the Phoenix My Kitchen Phoenix Smokers Racing car. So nice job. Goes 4 100ths quicker than Harrison, who's gone P2. Lee Harrison, Jack Boyd currently sitting in third. As Henry Fenson in the house goes 13th place now. Fenson RGS Racing in the 110. So he's done very well to go 13th. That's the top time now for Group B. And fantastic job that is. Tag a few friends tonight. Welcome them into this this stream because, like I said, you're about to see some neck-and-neck racing around this Hockenheim circuit. We love it. 4 minutes to go in qualifying. What do you think of the F1 last night? I had a chance there just to watch a quick... I watched the KO, what do they call it, the short or the mini version of the F1 because I couldn't stay up late last night to watch it. But interesting race, some good racing, some good wheel-to-wheel racing too. As Jack Boyd now goes to the top with a 1:57.9, first into the 1:57s, 69 thousandths quicker than Wood. So he's turned up the pace. What can Nick Wood do? He's just coming through the mid part of the lap now. Brenton Hobson goes second within 42 thousandths of a second. So look how close the top three are. 69 thousandths cover the top three. Just over a tenth of a second covers the top four. So once again, super close at the top. And we're only really focusing on, at the moment, Class A and Class B. All the way down to 28th place. Then we've got Brad Wooten, who's top of Class C at the moment, in 29th outright on a 2:01.4. And the top driver is Stu Patterson for Group D at the moment on a 2:02.45. So watch the end of this lap for Nick Wood. Jump on board for a moment, just watch how he comes through. Look at the push understeer there. Front end of the car really trying to push away from him. Then he gives it a bit of a twitch and flicks it into the final corner. No DRS, of course, on these MX-5s, even there's a DRS sign there. Crosses the line. Does he improve? He's 69 thousandths off the pace. Goes to the top by over a tenth. So great time there. Nick Wood looking very, very good tonight and takes provisional pole. Hobson's still out on a lap, though. So I'm just watching Hobbo at the moment, just on nearly 2/10 slower than the time we want to see. Mark Foster also halfway through a lap. He's Group C. He's now slowed down by the looks of things, and Greg Holmes is back, finished up for Extreme Racing. That is the man who puts the series together. What an absolute legend. So thank you. Let's go and have a look at Hobbo's lap though as he finishes it out. So I'm watching some of the mini sector times here. How's he gone through the mid sector? I think we may have a green. Wait for it to flick over and hopefully come up on the screen for us in time. He's just coming through the final part now, the stadium section here at Hockenheim, as Baker goes P7. Nice job by him. Here we go. So through the he goes into the pits. So that's it for him. Graham Ellis, 500 stars. Thanks, Graham. Welcome tonight, man. And as always, we're here on a Monday night for the Roadster Rumble. It's almost the end of qualifying. A minute and a half to go. Let's go and pick up Sam Lehman down in 45th place as Sam tries to just get out of this bottom part of the field. As I can see also from Group C, we've got John Thorne still out on a lap, and Dave Golgo, who's been driving very well in Group D, is not the top time in Group D. Second, Stu Patterson has nailed that top time as we have a quick look at the class leaders up the top. So Wooten for Class C, Patterson Class D, Wood Class A, of course, and Baker Class B. Not sure why they're not putting that in the correct order, but I'll just do a little quick refresh of that. Keith Logan's out there too. Love Keith Logan's livery on the car. Massive supporter of Race Stars TV, absolute legend. There you go. Now Class B, C and D are in the right order. Wood, Baker, Wooten and Patterson. We'll go through the full grid shortly. It is rolling starts, so you'll get to see all your favourite drivers doing that. Owen says, I ballsed both laps. So Owen Coleman, unfortunately, not happy with his performance in qualifying tonight. But with the 3-race format and a progressive grid, there's plenty of time to still get yourself back into this. Matt Van Egmon's someone who's just out there still finishing a lap. And he's currently 15th outright and 3rd in class. So that's a good job at the moment too for him. Wooten, Moroz and Tesorio are the top 3 in Group B, and the top 3 in Group D, sorry, the top 3 in Group D is Patterson, Linus and Nathan Button. Righto, let's head down and let's head down to the grid for race number 1. So as they start to grid up, let's run through the complete grid tonight. Now remember, they will group the classes together, so let's run through. Nick Wood and Jack Boyd will start from the front row with Hobbo and Harrison off the second row tonight. Oliver and Patterson, you row 3 with Baker, Turner, Norman and Ridley, the top 10. Provenzale starts out of 11th tonight with Edwards alongside him. Provenzale, I think it is. I got to get that right. I remember from last week now. out of 11th. Edwards, like I said, alongside in 12th place. And it's Losh and Fenson, Eggman and Seeger, your 16, with Schreier, Boyd, Dutch and Stassi. Rounding out the top 20, you can see Dutch is the top qualifier for Group B. Willits will start behind them in 21st with Smith, Ellis and Logan, your top 24. 25th on the grid, it goes to Middleton with Claver down there and Morgan and Hill Motion, your 28. Then we go to the first of our Group C drivers. Brad Wooten starts from 29th. Moz start from 30th with Tesorio in 31st. McMahon down in 32nd. Then it's Foster. Then Stewie Patterson, first of the Group D, starts from 34th with Canto, Linus. And as we head over the page to 37th, it's Ferguson. Greg Holmes will start from 38th with Pears and Button. Gogol and Walker down there in 42nd place. Connors, Thorne, Paradiso and Harrison in 46th. Lehman and Rodkin, your 48. How big is this grid of cars? 49th is Roberts. Doherty's there. Race Control won't be on the grid, but Owen Coleman will be in 52nd place. He balls both his laps, so he's starting right at the back. He will be elevated to the back, though, of Group B, I think is the way it works. Whiteman and Nanko around at the 54 drivers ready to do battle tonight. Let's get rid of the music. Greg Holmes just giving a final little welcome to the race tonight to all the drivers, making sure they know just what's going on and what's going to happen once they get underway. So rolling start. We're not doing the full lap, which is fantastic. We're starting just prior to the stadium, and you'll see them cruise around. There's the Porsche Experience Centre. We do have a few drone cameras set up here tonight. This is one from up in the bleachers, up in the top tier of the grandstand. You can see that's a shot that you would see if you were at Hockenheim, sitting up in the top seats. And just spin the camera around, you can see exactly what I mean. There it is. So right up underneath the lost our camera there for a second, just down at the end of the drag strip here at Hockenheim. So 6th lap, first race tonight. Hold on to your hats, we're about to get running. Ray Morgan's not well tonight, he's struggling. That's no good, mate, get better. But we just watch from the long shot. Oh, a couple of cars just blinking in and out there a little bit. So they will hold back the Group C and D. We'll see Group A and B get away shortly as they come down to the start finish line now to get us underway for race 1 tonight for the Roadster Rumble, round number 3 from Hockenheim. And there is your green light. Good start from one of the Smokers cars in the background. In fact, it was the Chicken Up Racing car. Absolutely hammered it off the line. It is tight, neck and neck down through this opening corner. Looks pretty good so far. Jack Boyd leads. Jack Boyd from Wood, then Harrison and Patterson. So a few positions have been made at the opening part of the lap. Here comes Group C and D now through turn 1. And it is Wooten leading Group C. Don't they sound so much slower? There's damage there for, is that Adam Hill Motion at the back? No, it's Glenn Boyd with plenty of front end damage. We go back to the lead pack. Boyd leads from 3 wide in the background. Someone Blinky as well, Blinky Bill would call it, but I think it may be Caleb Patterson and then Nick Wood. They're going to fan out to 3 or 4 wide into the braking zone for the hairpin now, and let's hope this all works out okay at the other side. Now it's the second car, Lee Harrison, that's blinking in and out. That'll be really putting some of the drivers off. We've got a bit of contact back further in the pack, and I think they've all got through there without incident. Once again though, we've got cars just blinking in and out, so that's going to really be off-putting. It's Harrison in second, then watch Patterson on board with him now. So he's tucked up behind the 26, and behind him you've got Brenton Hobson, who dropped 1 position off the start. Caleb Patterson, who we're on board with now, made up 3 positions in the opening half a lap here, so he's done very, very well. There is already drivers on Race Control channel asking Race Control to have a look at some incidents early on in the race. Once again, you can just see Lee Harrison disappear, reappear. Jack Boyd leads, so a good job. He got a good jump from the start, ran it down through turn 1, got into the lead early, and now he can push on for this 6-lap race. So about 12 minutes per race for the first 2. And there he goes again. I wonder if Race Control may black flag that car as Brenton Hobson now 4th place. I'll tell you what, Cameron Edwards, he made up a stack of spots up into 8th as well. 4 positions he made up on the opening lap. Keith Logan made up 9 spots into 15th. So he's absolutely on fire at the moment. And Lee Harrison dropping down the order, I reckon. He's been black flagged. Maybe, no, he's spun out. So Harrison's gone off anyway. After blinking in and out, he ends up now dropping all the way down the order and may retire that car. So like I said, Keith Logan is made up 10 positions now into 14th. So 14th place. That's a great drive with Simon Joel Smith behind him. As we look at the group leaders at the top of your screen, you can see it's Boyd, Baker, Wooten, Patterson. We go back to Brad Wooten at the moment, battling neck and neck with Moz as well. These are the Group C competitors fighting over their little championship, and at the moment, Wooten's got the upper hand by about 2 car lengths. As Henry Fenson drops the position as well. Gee whiz, it's busy up the front. Oh, spinner. That's a spinner. That's Fenson. Off down nearly into the barrier, but he got it spun around and back out onto the racetrack. But a little error there from him. Jack Boyd extending the lead at the front now. Has it out to just on 0.6 of a second. In behind Patterson, I think, just put a move on Nick Wood. He did. So Patterson back into third. Nick Wood from pole has dropped all the way down. Now what's happened to Baker there? I think he might have got collected as well. Check out the field of cars in the background. You can see a massive train of cars. Jokin says, how good Snitty's internet? Not so good. Keith Logan still in a battle here tonight. Oh, is that Keith flashing in and out now? It is Keith Logan flashing in and out, so hopefully he's all right. As we see Luke Claver now also on the back of him and Harrison. Then Simon Joel Smith, Willits and Dutch in there. Owen Coleman. Wow, he's made up 33 spots. He said he had a shocker in qualifying. Now he finds himself all over the back of Andrew Dutch. And the Group A driver is now getting himself up towards the back of the Group A pack. He's just making his way, chopping his way through Group B's at the moment, halfway through this race. Aaron Oliver is in the pits, and that's not ideal either. So Owen Coleman, with a fair bit of work to do, is getting closer and closer now to where he needs to be. Remember, he'll get extra chances in this race because of that progressive grid. We look at your race leader, Jack Boyd, currently out in front and doing a magnificent job. The lead at the moment is just on 0.6 of a second. It looks a bit more than that, doesn't it, over Brenton Hobson. Hobbo will be just biding his time. He'll try and close up in the next lap or two and probably make an attack on the final lap. Nick Wood is behind Patterson there. The top 4 have broken away from Marty Turner, who's further back. Then you've got Ridley and Edwards in a good little battle with Norman now diving down the inside. Ashley Norman with a big send, collects his teammate on the way through. And, he misjudged that braking and lost about 10 positions in doing so there. So it was a bit of an overexcited lunge, I think, and it didn't come off at all. So back with this lead pack. Good little battle going on. I want to go back though right to the bottom to some of the guys down in Group C and Group D. This is Ben Ferguson fighting with Ray Harrison. Harrison, then Ferguson, then Whiteman's there as well. Scott Doherty and Nankarago wheel to wheel. This is all the way down in 46th place. And this is what I love about this series. It doesn't matter if you're racing at the front or the back. There's always going to be some battles to be had. And whilst they don't get a lot of airtime, these drivers in the mid-pack and down the back of the field, they have an absolute ball out there. So it's great. There's Jamie Willits at the moment. He's fighting with Dutch and Coleman's behind him. Coleman's about to fire his way through, I think. He's pushing super hard here. Owen Coleman now up into 18th place. He took over 0.8 of a second out of Willits on the previous lap. Listen to the tyres scream as Henry Fenson is glued to the back of him as well. And we've got a massive train of cars now coming down towards turn 1. This is great. Back to the front though. Hobson starting to really close up onto the back of Jack Boyd now. So how long will Hobson wait to make his move to try and get into the lead of this race? We're on lap 4 of 6. Just on 6.5 minutes into the race. Let's jump into the cockpit of Brenton Hobson and suss out visor cam for the first time tonight. Here it is. So we're on board with him. He's getting a great slipstream down towards the hairpin. He'll pull out of the toe here, and he should be able to get this done under brakes. Look at the way it just skims the back end, just sliding under brakes, and he's come out of there in front and by a little bit of a margin, about half a car length over Jack Boyd. So now it's the turn of Brenton Hobson to lead this race and Jack Boyd to be the chaser. Will that help Patterson and Wood close up as well? Further back in the background is Turner and Ridley still fighting over 5th place. Ridley gets through down the inside. Nice overtake up on the curb. A little bit of contact with the Chicken Up racing car from the Down Under Sim eSports car. But they both got away with it. They're pretty forgiving, aren't they, these MX-5s? he can rub some panels and not get sent off into the fence, which is always a good thing. Keith Logan and Ashley Norman fighting over the top 13 spot at the moment. They've got Simon Joel Smith just behind them and Andrew Dutch as well. Owen Coleman seems to have just stalled out a little bit now. He can't seem to progress much further up the order. So did he take too much out of the tyres on the opening couple of laps? There he is, just in behind Jamie Willett's. Lap time pretty comparable between the two of them on the last lap, and Henry Fenton is flying out there. He did a 1:59.4 last lap around. That was almost a second quicker than the two drivers in front of him. What does he do this time? Just wait for the time to update as he crosses the line. Fenton does a 1:58.5, so there you go. He's absolutely flying. A 58.4 for Coleman in front, a 58.5 for Willett. So this little battle pack using the slipstream very, very much to their advantage. And closing up, Nick Wood, by the way, has just done a 1:57.6 as he sits in fourth place. Hobson still leads by about 3 car lengths. There's a shot back from Hobbo's car. And is he going to have a shot here? Jack Boyd, he looks down the inside. He doesn't go for it in the end. Hobson hangs on. Long shot here from our long distance camera in the background. Just shows Nick Wood also getting alongside Patterson. Here we go. More contact down to the hairpin. We'll go back to that Patterson battle because it's neck and neck between them. Patterson the quickest of anyone on lap 3 with that 1:57.4. We've only got a lap to go at the end of this one. Can Hobson hang on from where he is now? Simon Joel Smith as well in a mega battle with Keith Logan, who continues to flash a little there, Keithy boy. And Coleman's been able to get through on both of those drives now, up now 37 positions into 15th. So 37 positions Owen Coleman has made up in this race to be right up there now. And listen to race control.
No, classic.
There's a bit of confusion there from Andrew Dutch. Thought he was the one getting a penalty there for a moment. Right, they're just coming around to the final corner now to start the final lap of this race. Brenton Hobson leads them across the line. The gap 0.4 of a second. Looking pretty comfortable right now. I've got a little bit of money here on Nick Wood, I reckon, having a shot on this final lap. Geez, carrying some speed. Can he get a toe, a triple toe, down to the hairpin and maybe sneak past all of them? I've seen it happen before in this sort of class of racing. I've seen it in the Formula V's, big wobble under brakes from Patterson, and maybe Nick Wood should have just hung a little bit wide there. He compromised his entry slightly by having a look down the inside. Now, if he had to wait until now and got a great exit, possibly could have said, like I said, get that 3-for-1 deal. But Hobbo is carrying enough speed and at the moment staying far enough in front. So I think hang on here, although here comes Jack Boyd. Hobson starts to go defensive. Now Boyd sends it to the inside. And he'll have a big look here, Boydie, and he will go to the lead of this race. And look in the background. It's neck and neck. There's contact there. Patterson and Hobbo make some contact. And will he give that position back? I think he has. Nick Wood still in fourth place now, but you can see the damage on the left-hand front fender of Patterson after that contact with Hobbo. And the top 4 now coming into the stadium section. Oh, so they're in Mercedes now. Now they're going through the sweeping right-hand to head towards the stadium section. And Jack Boyd by a car length. There's plenty of talk going on and incidents happening. Race controls all over it though as we watch now Boyd into this final section. It's going to come down to the last couple of corners. Who can hang on and who can not muff it? I reckon Jack Boyd's been pretty solid. We didn't have him here last week and Hobbo absolutely dominated, but tonight he's giving him a run for his money once again, and Hobson needs to position the car well for maybe a last dive on the final corner. Here he goes, gets a good run out of the penultimate corner, and now through the final corner he goes, and they race towards the checker flag. Very wide in the background was Caleb. The checker flag waves, it goes to Boyd by 85 thousandths of a second. Super close between the top 4 there. Wood gets third, Patterson fourth. Ridley's going to cross the line ahead of Turner to get 5th, 6th, and then it's Harrison in 7th. Ashley Norman comes across the line in 8th ahead of Claver, Van Egman and Baker in 11th with Dutch rounding out at 12. Owen Coleman up 39 places, gets himself a top 13 finish ahead of Henry Fenton. So Coleman's back in this now with a progressive grid. That's helped him very much so. So the winner of Group B was Luke Claver. The winner of Group C, crossing the line now, is going to be Wooten by absolutely nothing. It's only about, what is it? Yeah, not much in it all. A bit of contact post-race there as well. They don't usually like seeing that. Stewie Patterson gets the win in Group D. So, wow, good competitive racing. We'll bring you some results shortly and then go to race 2. So we just wait for iRacing to give us the group results. We'll go through group racing results rather than the outright results tonight. Obviously Group A took the top 8 positions in the race, but they're all racing their little individual battles here, so it's interesting to note. Obviously the winners of each of the classes tonight. 4 classes all racing together, isn't it exciting? Just wait now for iRacing to tally it all up. Taking their sweet time for me tonight. Had a bit of time here, but good performance by Keith Logan. I'm not sure what happened right at the end there. He ended up dropping down to 16th, and I think there was some contact. I could hear race control, and Keith had a bit of an exchange there, so maybe some contacts cost him a decent haul of points as well. We're still just waiting on a couple of drivers to come back in. I'm not sure why it's taking so long. Is it because Maddie's still out there? So it's this man here. He's only done 1 lap. And he's gone out for some reason now, post-checkered flag, so we're not actually going to get any results until he gets around to the line to finish his second lap. And it's just giving him the old boot, so there we go. So let's go results. Group A, first of all, Heat 1. Jack Boyd ahead of Hobson and Nick Wood was your top 3, 5/10 of a second covering the top 3. Group B results went this way. It was Claver ahead of Van Egman and Bakey at top 3. 6/10 covering the top 3 in Group B as well, so that's a good performance. Group C, the winner of Group C tonight in race 1 was Brad Wooten and Moz Moroz and Mark Foster. There was 1.7 seconds covering the top 3 in Group C. And then finally Group D at the back, it was a Patterson, Linus, Button top 3, 10 seconds covering the top 3 in Group D. Right, time for the grid now for our race at number 2 tonight. Once again, another 6-lapper, as there's your outright top 18 positions. You can see some of the Group B drivers, Luke Claver up into 9th outright, getting amongst the Group A's, which is always good to see. Let's have a look now, grid for race number 2. This is how they will kick it off, and I generally just go through the first 20 or so drivers because they do shuffle them around and bring the Group A's and B's that are out of position up to the back of their classes. So, but Jack Boyd will get pole position. He'll lead us away with Hobson right beside him. Wood and Patterson off the second row, Ridley and Turner. As we can see now, let's have a quick look from above. You'll see them start to make their way into positions and form up in their classes. So let's turn the sound up, let's get rid of the music and get set for race number 2 for the Roadster Rumble. So as you can see from the chopper camera here, so just give us an indication on the group gap they give. So there's your Group A and B. And just coming into the stadium now is Group C and D. Massive field of cars. It's time to go racing though. So here we go. Race number 2 getting underway. And we wait for the green. Now we get it. Boyd gets away from Hobson well. Pretty even as they head down towards turn 1. Hobson, then Patterson and Wood. Patterson's made up 1 position already. Across the curb cam they go. Like an absolute school of bees, that is, as we see someone spinning in the background. Lee Harrison went around, so unlucky for Lee. He's had a big off as we go down into the braking zone now. 2, 3, 4 wide in the background. How crazy is that? Now we look back even further to the Group C and D, who are just getting away now through turn 1. They're much quieter, aren't they, these old 2010 MX-5 Cup cars? And they're a little bit more sedate. They're a little bit slower in there. I think they're down on about 15 horsepower or so. Definitely a little bit slower, and they don't have as much bark as these 2016 MX-5s. Into the braking zone we go. Hobson leads on lap 1. Jack Boyd's dropped back to 3rd now. He's in a bit of a pickle here, and he almost goes around. A big slide there from Jack Boyd. Somehow managed to hang on to it. It does drop back to 5th position. With that slide, lost a stack of momentum. Hobson out in front. Look in the background, they're 4 wide as they come into Mercedes now, and down the inside the chicken up racing car of Ashley Norman having a look, pushes Boydie wide. He's getting mugged in race 2. They got the elbows out. There's more contact as they're 3 wide. Car went up on 2 wheels and spinning around. Luke Claver's gone around after that fantastic first race. Oh, there's more carnage. There's a big dust up in the midfield now. Cars facing the wrong way, and someone's back on the racetrack now in the middle of the racetrack. Who's that? That's Owen Coleman. After all that hard work in race 1, Coleman has turned around, and now he has to try and get himself back into this. So big mix up there. Out in front, Hobson leads though from Turner, just over half a second here on our second race. Lap 2 about to get underway. Some wild stuff, says Jokin. I might try and get a replay for you on that, because that was a big one. We'll pick up who it was that went around first of all. I think it was Scotty Baker, so let's have a quick look at that now. This is a replay.
Guys, please, it's a big field, let's keep the chat.
So here we go. There's the contact, and big spin from Scotty Baker. Round he goes, and we'll just roll that back a little bit. Sorry, I got my the voice chat here on the same channel as the replay music, so I've just got to turn that down because they're getting a bit of a spoken to at the moment about their communications. But let's just watch Scotty Baker. Did he get out of shape first? I think he actually was focused on the Simworx car that was spinning around. Then there was a secondary contact with him, and then look at the big lose there for Coleman, who then goes back into the side of the 43, which spins them all around, and then the mayhem follows and ensues from then on in. 3 or 4 cars involved in that one. So go back to live, and we'll pick up your race leader, still leading here, Hobbo, by a 1/10 of a second, and Patterson running 3rd at the moment. Nick Wood, Jack Boyd still back in 5th place. We've got more carnage down at the hairpin. There's Greg Holmes, who's not only having to race here, and he's also having to keep everyone in control and make sure everything's running to plan. It's a hard thing to do, organise a series like this and then still get out there and race. And I love that he does do it, because with the man that puts in countless hours and his own money as well to make this work, he deserves to have a good, fun, relaxing race out there. I'm not sure if it can ever be relaxing though when you've also got the weight of the series riding on his shoulders, but he's out there having a good little scrap with, at the moment, it's Phil Whiteman, who's brand new to the series tonight. So Phil Privateer has come and joined the Mazda Roadster Rumble, thanks to Simworx, for this round number 3. We've got a car off the track. It's Moz Moroz, and who's the other one there facing the wrong way? I'm trying to pick up. As Mark Foster's gone for a bit of an excursion. Where's he off to? And he'll rejoin, I think, down around 30th place, or is he going straight to the pit lane? Bit of a wild ride as well. He's got to make sure he doesn't... Oh, he's going into the pits. I was going to say he's got to make sure he doesn't hit that big pile of tyres on the pit entry. So let's have a look as we see Hobson now under some pressure from Marty Turner. Turner pulls out to the right. Should be able to go down the inside at the hairpin and make this little move stick. So Turner now leads on lap 3. Hobson in behind. Patterson's there as well. Jack Boyd, then Norman, Ridley, Wood, Dutch, Van Egmond and Fenson. Your top 3. Hobbo giving Turner a little bit of a push, a bit of his own medicine. Down the back straight into the stadium now. And they are racing hard at the front. There's a long shot of the stadium section. We'll just try and pick them up here at some point. Not sure why that camera's bugged out on me. That's because they're down at Mercedes. I keep getting that confused, don't I? It's they're not at the stadium yet. From that other camera angle, it looks very much like the entry this corner here to the entry into the stadium. There's a lot going on the race control channel, so I'm just going to turn that down for a little bit tonight. Nick Wood, Ridley, Dutch, Van Egmond. I generally like to have the chatter up there because it's the communication between race control and the drivers that is quite important for us to hear, but there's a lot of, I think, other stuff going on which is just being pulled back in at the moment. Bit of chit chat, says Joking. Oh my God.
And this is your last warning. You were told last week and you just continue to do it.
So there you go. I think we might see some people get themselves a little bit of a black flag, which in other words is a boot out of the session if they keep up the shenanigans. There's Hobson now second. Let's have a quick look at the class leaders at the moment. Class A, it is Turner out in front. Marty Turner driving very well. Dutch is 8th outright in this little scrap at the moment with Kyle Ridley for 7th. Dutch leading Class B at the moment as well. Then we look back further to Brad Wooten, who once again is dominant in Group C tonight. He's got a 2.7 second lead over McMahon, and then you've got Linus, who's bringing up the Group D ahead of Stuart Patterson and Phil Whiteman at the moment for Group D. So I think Phil Whiteman, by the way, is selected the wrong car tonight on debut. So you can see he's in the 2016 car, which you'll wear a little bit of bother about that, and he'll have to make sure he picks the right car next week. Hobson back into the lead as Patterson and Boyd. Hey, Boyd's back in this now after running 5th for quite a few laps there. He's now up into P3, and once again can see his main rival, his main target just in front of him, Brenton Hobson. So this is not over yet for Boydie. Can he get himself back up into the top position? Jokin likes the warnings being handed out. It's a bit entertaining, isn't it? A bit like the V8 Veterans. Gee, we had some good blow-ups on V8 Veterans race control channel last night. I had to turn that one down for a bit. And I think some of it was coming from race control itself. Oh, classic. Righto, here he goes. Turner having a little bit of a look as they come back through onto the final corner now. We will see pit stops in the final race tonight, not in this one. Once we get to the final race, definitely pit stops. Let's have a look at curb cam. As they come up to turn 1, we'll read them through. It's going to be Hobbo who leads us over the curb cam first. Hobbo, then Turner, Boyd, Patterson, Norman. Then we got Nick Wood with Dutch, Ridley, Van Egmond. Sideways across there was, I think, Henry Fenton as well. Lap 5 of 6, only 2 to go. Marty Turner now, P2. Can he get back in front of Hobson? Will he prefer to just maybe sit in behind? Do you want to be leading going into the last lap of this race with such a long straightaway heading down to the hairpin? So they'll fan out here. Jack Boyd, I reckon, is going to possibly see himself or fancy himself taking the lead now as he goes a big dive down the inside on Hobbo. Hobbo turns in and job done. So Boydie into the lead. Hobson got a great exit out of there though and goes back into P1. So it just goes to show if you send it down the inside, quite often you can't rotate and accelerate out as well as Hobbo was just able to do. So that's a good indication of what to do if someone does make a send on the final lap. So the top 4 now covered by 0.6 of a second. Anyone's to win here for race number 2. Then we've got a 12-lap feature coming up straight after that. But I tell you what, Hobbo, what's he got to do to win this one? You'll have the elbows out here with Jack Boyd, but Jack tends to have an answer for that when it gets into the big slipstream and braking zone. So good battle at the front. There's Graham Ellis. We haven't seen too much of tonight yet, but he's running in 22nd, chasing down Adam Hill. Adam Hill Motion, sorry. And this is a battle in Group B. 21st and 22nd place. Graham Ellis for No Stress Racing. Pushing along nicely. White flag drops. So final lap of the race. We'll go back to this lead battle. Hobson leading by a car length. Running down towards turn 2 now. Jack Boyd's there. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars could win this one. Maybe 6 even. With Nick Wood now bolted to the back. Big send down the inside from Marty Turner makes a little bit of contact, does he, with Jack Boyd? That'll just compromise Boyd a little bit and help Hobson hold on to a couple of car lengths lead towards the hairpin. So that's worked in the favour of Hobson. Marty Turner getting in on the battle there has given Hobson a bit of a buffer. Now Ashley Norman against his teammate, two chicken up racing cars. Third and fourth now. And look at Marty Turner and then also Nick Wood in the background. Nick Wood dicing, trying to find a way through. Hobbo's going to hold on to the lead. And from here on in, I reckon Hobbo can maybe hang on to this one. We've got a spinner. Nick Wood's gone around down to the hairpin. Sadly for him, he'll drop outside of the top 10. But Hobbo, I reckon, now he's leading into a Mercedes here. He can probably win this race. What will Jack Boyd do? So he's a little bit wide through there. Jack Boyd keeps it nice and tight through the apex. Now they've got the lap car of Roberts, who jumps right out of the way, doesn't want to get involved in a battle with the leaders. That's for sure. Into the stadium now. It is Hobbo leading in with only about 4 corners to go. Look in the background there, Turner. A big send down the inside on the grass as the lap car gets out of the way. That was absolutely enthralling. Good job that he had the vision to move to the right then, otherwise it would have been an incident. But Hobbo hangs on. Only a couple of corners to go now. And Brenton Hobson is going to take the win in race 2, or is he? Jack Boyd gets a great exit, and the checker flag drops as we cross the line, and it is Hobbo with the win. Just over a tenth of a second from Jack Boyd. Ashley Norman gets third, Turner fourth. We look back to the Class B winner. It is Matt Van Egmond. Takes a win in Class B for the second race tonight. Further back, Andrew Dutch, I think, went off at the final corner, damage to his car. And he finishes down there. There's Keith Logan finishing 19th. Bradley Wooten is going to come around to take the win in Group C, 24th outright as well. So that's a good performance ahead of his teammate Steve McMahon. So first and second for their team, 24th and 25th outright in the second race tonight. Good job, Brad Wooten. And as I look further down, Darren Linus should be on pace here to take out the win in Group D. Good performance by him as well. So a Hobson win for race 2 will put him in pole position for the feature race. 12 laps coming up, 1 fuel stop as well. Be back with you shortly and bring you all the results from race number 2 before we go to the grid for our final race of the night. Okay, so let's go through the results there from race number 2. As the Hobson win over Jack Boyd and Ashley Norman in top 3. We'll go through the classes. Group A, of course, that was those 3 at the top with Turner and Patterson in your top 5. Group B, results from race number 2. Van Egmond got first place ahead of Henry Fenton and Jamie Willits, your top 3, with Andrew Dutch and Keith Logan rounding out the top 5. Then Group C, it went in the way of Wooten and McMahon, with Moroz getting your top 3, Canto and Lehman into the top 5. And then finally Group D for race number 2 was Linus with the win ahead of Stuart Patterson and Nathan Button, your top 3. Whiteman and Walker, top 5 there. Good job Phil Whiteman too on debut, coming in 4th there for Group D. Congratulations, righto. We just got a quick warm-up session now before the race, or the feature race tonight. So don't go anywhere. We're back with you shortly for that. We're here at the Roadster Rumble, round number 3 from the Hockenheim ring. What a great place to be. One more race coming up, 12 laps, 1 fuel stop. Don't go anywhere. Hope you enjoyed the flyover there. Great above this great circuit. Thanks, Graham, for another 100 stars, man. Some busy racing going on out there tonight. Like I said, this final race tonight will be 12 laps, 1 fuel stop required for round number 3 of the Roadster Rumble. Now, the weather conditions out there, I was just looking at that during the flyover. It's partly cloudy, 27 degrees track temp. Sorry, 27 degrees track temp on a 22 degree ambient day here, with the time just approaching 10 a.m. I'll tell you what, I'm excited. I hear that rain isn't too far away in iRacing. And we've seen some windscreen wipers start coming on recently, randomly in races. And I just can't wait. I think it's going to be so exciting. Imagine MX-5s for the Roadster Rumble doing a race, and then all of a sudden it gets a little bit wet and they're slipping and sliding out there. I think it's going to be so incredible when we get to that. Not too far away, I've been told. Righto, we've got about 10 seconds to go before we grid up for the final race today. So hold on to your hats. It's going to be an exciting one. Don't go anywhere. 12 laps of bumping, drafting. Who can come out on top? We'll find out soon. So the grid for the final race, remember, they will be shuffled around slightly to be in class order, but Hobson will take pole position ahead of Jack Boyd. Ashley Norman will start on the second row with Turner and Patterson and Ridley, your top 6. Matty Eggman there, Van Eggman starts from 7th in Group B, with Edwards alongside Seeger, Fenton, Willits and Wood, your top 12. 13th on the grid, Glenn Boyd with Losh, and then you've got Harrison and Oliver, Dutch and Schreier down in 18th place. Keith Logan will start from 19th with Morgan. Your motion in 21st with Stassi, Baker and Wooten, your top 24. Wooten, the top Group C driver out there for race number 3 tonight. McMahon and Moroz will be there with Canto and Lehman as well. Then you've got Claver, Pears, Linus and Tessirio down there in 32nd. 33rd on the grid is Patterson with Thorne, Button and Whiteman, your 36th. 37th on the grid will be Walker with Connors, Ferguson, Gogol, Rodkin, Doherty, Harrison and Nankara in 44th. It's Foster, Graham Ellis down in 46th, Middleton and Smith down in the back. And right at the back we've got Paradiso, Roberts, Holmes and Provenzali down in 52nd with Owen Coleman right at the back tonight. You can see them just shuffling around, getting themselves into grid order, getting ready to go racing. Let's get rid of the music and let's go up with our pole sitter Brenton Hobson and see what he can do for race number 3. Can he hang on and take out the round win tonight? Or will Jack Boyd, who missed last week's, take it to him? So we'll listen in for a race start here. They're already jostling a little bit there. I think it's so hard to get a jump in these MX-5s from other competitors. You've really just got to make sure you keep it clean through turn 1 and then start defending for turn 2 here at Hockenheim. But hold on to everything. Cross your fingers for the drivers at the front that there's no big incidents. Here we go. We've got green light on. We're racing for our feature race tonight. 12 laps. We get underway and the Group A and B drivers head down towards turn 1. 2 by 2 they go through there, up on 2 wheels. Hobson's leading. Boyd got through there quite wide, but he's looking okay. In the background we've got Turner and then Norman, Patterson, Ridley and Edwards as they compressed into the braking zone, down now at 2 into 3. And well, they've all got through very, very cleanly, which is always good to see in the background as they filter through. Nice job. Wooten at the back leading the Group C drivers away. He leads McMahon and Moroz. Canto's in 4th place as well, as they now settle themselves into the Group C and D battle for a class, of course. Back at the front, though, Hobson straight away under pressure from Jack Boyd into the braking zone. The Chicken Up Racing cars late on the brakes down the inside. It's Ashley Norman again, as we got a spinner there. We've got a couple of cars way off the circuit, but coming back on, it was one of the Chicken Up Racing cars that went wide. Ridley comes back into 4th place as well. And there's a bit of push and shove going on. Look at the leaders jostling for first. And then Boyd in behind, 4th and 5th. Ridley and Norman, then Patterson. Glenn Boyd's made up 6 positions now, running in the top 7 at the start of this race. A great start from him. after also missing last week. He's now inside the top 10 and not too far off the top 5 at this stage.
Correct.
Then you got Edwards, Wood, Harrison, Van Egmon's in 11th place with Fenson. It's Van Egmond and Fenson battling over Group B. So nice start for both of those competitors as well. And further back, Seeger, Losh, Michael Schreier for Synergy Sim Racing running in 16th. He's made up a few positions. Owen Coleman again has made up a heap of spots. He's into 20th place. He gets a lot of that 33 place bump from obviously being elevated to the back of Group B, but he's still passing plenty of competitors in the opening lap of this 12-lap race. Hobson out in front though still leads, and the margin at 3.5, nearly 0.4 of a second. Oliver and Coleman fighting here. Let's go back and find Graham. Where is he? All the way down the back. Graham Ellis in 25th place. So he got moved up to the back of Group B and is now fighting and chasing after Simon Joel Smith and Luke Claver, who's in 23rd and 24th. So Jimmy Middleton as well at the back of that little pack, also elevated up onto the back of Group B for the start of race 3 tonight. And I like the way, I know Greg, he does that. It just helps separate the slower cars from the faster cars, but it does make interesting racing to keep all the Group A and B together and all the C and D's together for the start of the race. They do mix themselves up throughout the race, but just to get the start underway, it's always fantastic to bunch them like that. As we watch Hobbo once again, and Boyd, Turner, Ridley and Norman, your top 5. Nothing's changed in that department. Let's check out the drone camera as they come into the stadium. And look at the chicken up racing car of Marty Turner, P3. He's right onto the back of Boyd. Almost makes some contact there. Behind him, Kyle Ridley. Let's jump on board with Kyle. He's looking pretty good as well. In 4th place at the moment. Just biding his time here. And a podium in the final race. That would be anyone's, wouldn't it? He'd love that. He's got Ashley Norman, a couple of car lengths behind. And then Patterson, Glenn Boyd still in 7th. Cameron Edwards 8th. Then you got Nick Wood up 3 spots into 9th, and Lee Harrison fighting on here at the back of this train in 10th place. After an up and down first couple of races, he had a great start to race 1, then went backwards. Race 2 as well, finished backwards and had to make up positions now in the feature. He's now looking at the back of Cameron Edwards with a big dive down the inside and then disappears on me. So his internet continues to be a little bit of a sore spot tonight for us. Unfortunately, we can't see a lot of his action. As we see Hobson and Boyd making a run for it, they're out of there. So Boyd giving a little bit of a push to Hobson, which helps him, or helps them both then extend away a little bit from the battle pack. They're leaving Ridley in their dust, although the slipstream's so strong that they then close up again under brakes. Check out Boyd, that's Glenn Boyd in the mid-pack there, or mid-part of this battle. He runs wide off the track. He's got to watch the re-entry there, which is in the end okay. Cameron Edwards, Van Egmond, and Seeger as well. Oh, there's another pass up ahead. Look out, down the inside. Oh, that was close. Did they make contact? No, they didn't. So Turner and Ridley are getting pretty close there together, door to door. In Mercedes now, Turner's come out on top there, up 1 position into 3rd. And they're staying in touch with Hobbo, although they've once again broken away by about 7/10 in the latter part of this lap. Jump on board here with Jack Boyd, because I reckon he's going to send it sooner or later than here on Brenton Hobson. So jump in visor cam. Let's just watch the dash board as well. You can see the speed they carry through the corners. It's all about momentum in the MX-5, much like the Formula V, the Formula Fords. Carrying speed, don't let it wash off through the corners. And then just tuck in, try and get a good slipstream through turn 1. Carry as much speed as you can. Don't go too wide. If you go too wide there, you get a slowdown in iRacing. You've got to give the time back to the bank, and that can be very, very hurtful. Now into the braking zone. He'll just be thinking, right, good exit out of here, and then it will be a slam dunk overtake down at the back end of the hairpin as we get a good exit onto the straightaway, which is a kink to the left. And now he just has to be patient. He'll close right up under the back bar of Brenton Hobson, and then he should be able to send it to the inside. So here he goes, closing. He's backed out of the throttle there, so that's saving fuel. Remember, there is a fuel stop in this race, so a bit of strategy at play there as well tonight.
Roger, race control.
Racing, no further action.
So we'll have a quick look at the class leaders. We'll go from Group D, starting with Phil Whiteman on debut tonight, leading Class D. Like I did point out, he's in the wrong car, so whether or not these points will count for him, he's accidentally selected the 2016 car. But they've let him race tonight, and he's currently up a heap of positions into top Group D time. Group C, Brad Wooten still leading that little battle, and ahead by quite a way of Steve McMahon. It's about 1.8 seconds the margin there. A few cars coming into the pits now, including Patterson, Seeger, Losh and Oliver. They're all in the pits for their first pit stop. Matt Van Egmond leading Group B, of course. He's got a margin at the moment of about 2.4 seconds back to Jamie Willits, and he's got two Group A drivers in between him, so Schreier and Coleman, tail gunners at the moment for Matt Van Egmond to stay away and hopefully get another class win tonight. And then of course out in front leading the race and leading Group A, Brenton Hobson, Hobbo88. If you haven't seen Hobbo's Twitch account, go and have a look, follow it, check it out. He does some really cool stuff over there and streams a lot of content and is just a downright fantastic bloke, so make sure you go check it out. Still a couple of blinky bills in there tonight. That's Lee Harrison, isn't it? Still blinking away there. Glenn Boyd will be distracted by that as we jump back on board with Boyd now, fighting with Kyle Ridley, who's just to his left-hand side. There is Kyle, just appearing. He's got to try and get him behind. Gee whiz, he went up on the curb there, didn't he?
Thank you, Bill.
Graham Miller still running in 16th place. Bit of a lonely drive out there for Graham, but he's doing a nice job. He's moved up 30 positions according to the timing screen. A lot of that was from the move at the start to get him on the back of the pack. But 16th outright does mean he has genuinely passed probably about 10 cars, I reckon, since the start of this final race tonight as we approach lap 6. McMahon, oh, that's close between McMahon and Oliver. Oliver going through. Now, Aaron Oliver, a Group A driver, has just got through on Steve McMahon, so a little bit out of position there is Aaron Oliver due to having that early pit stop. And I like that about this strategy. If drivers come into the pits, they sort of know, as Jack Boyd's into the pits now, that they're going to come out amongst some of the Group C and Group D competitors. So it's a little bit extra risk involved in that tonight. So Hobbo now with a bit of breathing space, leads on lap 6, and his closest rival now in the pit lane. So lap 6 to 12. I'll just run you across the pit lane strategy shortly. Jack Boyd in 13th place outright is leading as far as drivers that have taken their fuel stop. He took 10 seconds worth of fuel, and he's got Lee Harrison and Caleb Patterson just close to him as well. They've all stopped for fuel. In fact, the majority of cars down this end of the order now have. Now the gap between Hobson, who is leading the race now, back to Boyd is 23 seconds, so 23.4 seconds from first back to 13th place. We'll keep an eye on that, see if that is increasing or decreasing over the next couple of laps. I presume that the tank and the amount of fuel in the car will probably mean most or the majority of drivers that have been fuel saving will still need to come in soon. Hobbo's going to carry on, is he? Yes, he is. But look at that, the Chicken Up Racing drivers, both of them go to the pit lane for a double stack. Ridley stays out, Nick Wood stays out as well, and so does Cameron Edwards. So plenty of drivers still staying out for another lap. Owen Coleman, another one, stays out, now makes up 48 positions to be in the top 5. If there's to be a prize tonight for the man who's made up the most positions, Owen Coleman would have every award possible. Keith Logan running in 28th place behind Andrew Dutch at the moment, 3 seconds behind, and then a buffer back to John Thorne of 3 seconds as well. So Keith in a little bit of a no man's land at the moment. 28th place outriders, Wooten, McMahon and Canto all come to the lane for their pit stop. Lap 7 of 12. Group D leader at the moment is Ray Harrison in the R&M racing car. So he's just on your screen now, and just seeing a little bit of an impact at the top there between some of our leaders, but they actually are just going wide there at the hairpin. Now, someone can maybe tell me, does that incur a slowdown if you do that too often? Very wide at that hairpin. So at the moment the top 9 are yet to stop. Graham Ellis is 9th place, up 37 spots in the race. So he's bringing up the train or the tail at the moment of drivers yet to make their final pit stop. Surely we're going to see Hobbo in this lap, or ride with him and just see as he comes into the stadium, tips it in. Flat chat, Hobbo 88. His best lap time of 1:58.9 on lap 3. He's a little bit off that at the moment. Well, he did a 58.5 on the last lap, but that didn't go green, which to me indicates he had an off track and it wasn't counted. I think that's the way it works. 58.9, his best lap time of 58 as he stays out. No, he's in the pits. So important stop now for Hobbo 88. He'll come in at a great rate of knots, and let's see where Jack Boyd is. Jack Boyd's just going through the stadium section now, and Hobbo, let's see if he can come out in front. How much fuel did he save at the start there? Remember, Jack Boyd's fuel stop was a 10.7 second stationary stop. Hobbo's just fueling now. He's 4 seconds in the lane. 6, 7 now, 8.2 for Hobbo. So the short stop, and Hobbo just leading the pits now. And he's going to be ahead of Jack Boyd by some margin as well, about 4 or so seconds. He's got Kyle Ridley right behind him. There's Boyd in the background. So the gap between, ultimately, the guy that was leading the race and the guy in P2 has actually stretched out. A lot of that due to Brenton Hobson's short fuel stop. Kyle Ridley, by the way, only took 6.8 seconds worth of fuel to jump up into 5th place and right behind Hobbo. So a bit of work to do now for Jack Boyd. The top 3 still yet to stop. Nick Wood leads the race. Will Wilson says Hobbo and Boyd is a much cooler version of Starsky and Hutch. I like that. So Nick Wood, Group A leader, surely will have to stop at the end of this lap. Ray Morgan as well, running 2nd. He's also in Group B. He's leading Group B. Then Graham Ellis from Group B as well. All 3 drivers will need to stop. And if they can get a short little sneaky stop in like Hobbo, they might get themselves up in the top 15. Heading towards the end of this race, lap 8 already. Here's Hobson. The gap back to Boyd, 2.2. So Boyd's already taken a couple of seconds out of him on this lap. And he'll have the bit between his teeth. He can see Hobbo up the road. He knows that's ultimately who he's fighting against for the win tonight. The 3 in front of Hobbo, well, he knows they don't have a chance because they're going to have to stop, and Nick Wood continues on. Lee Harrison, by the way, has done a 1:58.0, fastest lap of the race.
Thank you, Matt.
So he's moving along nicely as well. Class leaders at this stage, lap 9 of 12. It is Nick Wood leading Group A, Morgan leading Group B, Thorne Group C, and Harrison at Group D. So quick look at Lucas Stassi in 16th place, up 6 positions. Graham Ellis comes into the pits now from P3, so we'll see how far that demotes him down the order and how much fuel he takes on board. He's just filling up now. 9-10 seconds worth of fuel has gone on board. 12, so it's a lengthy stop here. 15 seconds now. I wonder if Graham has not turned off his fuel there because he's still stationary. 21 seconds worth of fuel for Graham Ellis. That's going to be quite costly in the big scheme of things. Glenn Boyd and Damien Seeger fighting here over a 10th place finish. There's Schreier as well, Michael Schreier. Great to see him out racing. Everyone's, I know, busy these days. We don't see Michael doing as many events as I used to when I first started broadcasting this. He's racing nicely at the moment. So we'll watch Nick Wood surely into the pits. He's got a lap car there off the track. That's a real sketchy place to go off onto the grass. It was Roberts, I think, coming back on. All's okay in the world though, and he misses him. But we'll see what happens with your race leader. Is he going to come in this time? He is. So he fires it back to the pit lane. He cut the entry there. I wonder if you can get away with that in iRacing. I presume you can. And surely Ray Morgan will come into the pits too. He taps the brake pedal a couple of times and also fires it towards the pit entry. So that'll release Hobson now into the lead of this race. Ridley will be second, and Jack Boyd not too far behind, 1.5 now, so he's chopped another second out of Hobbo's lead since we last saw him. Nick Wood still in the pits, took 8.5 seconds worth of fuel. He's just leaving now, so that's a really good drive from Nick Wood. Hobson will go through into the lead, but Nick Wood may be third here. He is. As you can see, Jack Boyd cut across that pit exit line to make sure he got a little bit of a toe off the back of Nick Wood. So our top three now: Hobson, Ridley, Wood. Boyd in for fourth. Then it's Turner, Harrison, Norman, Patterson, Glenn Boyd, and Damien Seeger get top 10 with 3 laps to run here tonight. Interesting race. Schreier and Oliver having a really good scrap over 12th as well. Back down a little bit further. It's right on board with Michael Schreier. Should be able to have a look down the inside here. He does. Oh, big send. Can he stop it from there? He does. Rotates it. Schreier goes off the track slightly. There's some big moves going on then down there. Seeger and Boyd also involved in a scrap. This is Damien Seeger, 9th place. Glenn Boyd chasing him down. So many battles out there. But Hobson leads. The gap at the front, 0.3 of a second. Kyle Ridley and Nick Wood. Jack Boyd hasn't been able to pass them, by the way. There is Jack Boyd trying to find a way through on Nick Wood, but it's proving to be a little bit difficult. It's great to see the group names, or the Group A, Group B, C, and D listed on the license plates. A nice little touch there from Greg Holmes for this season 5 of the Roadster Rumble. And as we start lap 11, Hobson does a 58.7 as well for Ridley. They're matching each other. Glenn Boyd's still in a scrap here with Damien Seeger. Can't get past him yet anyhow. He's carrying a lot of speed into turn 1. So penultimate lap. Only one to go after this one. Schreier, there's a big queue of cars now behind Seeger. So Seeger, Boyd, Edwards and Schreier all within just over a second. Then you got Aaron Oliver as well on the back of that pack. He could fancy himself getting a top 10 if there's to trip over each other in front. Scott Baker's in the pits for I think his second pit stop, sadly. That'll drop him outside the top 20. As the lead battle continues to rage. Kyle Ridley will be loving this. The Down Under Sim Sports e-driver will be enjoying up 4 positions in this feature race. Nick Wood as well up 9 positions, and Lee Harrison up 10. So 3 of the drivers in the top 5 there have had to make a lot of overtakes to get to where they are at this race. This race ends as we come into this braking zone now for Mercedes, and then we hook it back to the left and flick it to the right. Hold on for dear life through there as well. It's a very tough corner in an F1 car to judge that right. If you've played the F1 games, I quite often spear it off into the fence there. So we'll quickly go around the grounds before we watch this final battle to the end from the top 2, 3, 4 drivers. At the moment, Group A, the top 14, all Group A drivers. Lucas Stassi is leading Group B, and he's by himself there in 15th place. Leading Group C, it's Wooten, and Bradley Wooten at the moment 26th outright, and about 1 second clear of Sam Lehman, closest competitor to Brad. And then Group D is Darren Linus, who's on form at the moment. If he can hang on, he's got quite a gap, 14 seconds back to Bard Rodkin, who's the next Group D driver, so looks pretty comfortable to be able to win that class tonight. Right, let's go back to the lead battle. We're on the final lap now. White flag has flown. There's lap traffic and there's contact there between the leaders. Nick Wood's trying to go around the outside, so they've got to try and judge. There's lap cars here, and look at Jack Boyd as well. Let's jump on board with Boyd, trying to find a way through. He's tucked up behind Ridley. I think the lap car is to their left. No, that's Nick Wood to the left. You can see Hobbo about 4 or 5 car lengths up the road. And Hobson actually got the best deal out of that little lap traffic incursion down at turn 2. Spicy finish, says Joke, and it's going to be a spicy finish. There's contact there. So Ridley's gone straight ahead. Then Nick Wood has gone through late on the brakes and clobbered Hobson. Luckily, Hobson stayed in one piece there. Now Nick Wood's coming back at him. How much damage did that do to Hobson's car?
Oh, man.
That was a big, big moment. We'll have a look at that on the small screen replay whilst we're watching this finish here. So Nick Wood throwing everything at Brenton Hobson. You'd think Hobson can probably hang on from here. He's a wily old fox when it comes to this kind of racing. Just check out the replay bottom of your screen. The big send down the inside. Ridley was never going to stop that. It's almost like he had a brake failure. Then Hobson got one in the door, and they continue on with it. But wow, what a finish to this race. They come through the stadium section now. There's a lap car in front of Hobbo now. He'll try and clear him as soon as he can, which he does. Yes, he does, and so does Nick Wood. Jack Boyd in the background will get caught out by the lap car right on the apex as they come through the final corner now. It's going to be a run to the line, and I think Hobbo is going to hang on for the win. Brenton Hobson takes the win in the feature race, and he does it in style by 0.3 of a second over Wood and Boyd onto the podium for a top 3. What a good performance by Nick Wood there, up 10 spots into second, but Jack Boyd equally good at the end there. 3rd place, had to make a few overtakes. And Lucas Stassi takes the win in Group B tonight. Fantastic drive by him. And the Simworx racing car on the podium, and will come and have a chat to us hopefully shortly for a Group B win. Group C, Brad Wooten, he's just coming into the stadium now, and he's well clear of Sam Lehman, 2 seconds clear, and that's a great drive. Just needs to hang on for another couple of corners. And Group D looks like Darren Linus is also well clear of Bard Rodkin to take out that win. So fascinating night of racing, and some really good wheel-to-wheel action there. So we'll talk to our main game drivers shortly. We'll get the top 3 from Class A, and we'll talk to the top winner of each class as well, because that's definitely something we want to discuss. What a great track for MX5 racing. The Roadster Rumble every Monday night here on Race Stars TV, and we'll be back with you shortly with some interviews. Let's go through the results as they're made available to us from iRacing now. And the overall results coming up on the screen, and this is how it looks. Hobson with the win in the feature race from Nick Wood and Jack Boyd, your top 3. Harrison, Norman, and it was Turner, Seeger, Oliver, Losh, and Stassi, your top 10. Let's go down to the Group A, of course. Those top 3 will remain the same. And then we go to Group B to see the winners, and it was a great win there for Stassi, Van Egman, and Willis, your top 3 in Group B. The top 3 in Group C goes to Wooten, Lehman, and Canto, and then the top 3 in Group D tonight goes to the wonderful Linus, Rodkin, and Gogol, your top 3. So well done to all the competitors tonight, but overall it was a fantastic win for Mr. Brenton Hobson. We'll wait for him to come in for a chat shortly, and we've got our other drivers starting to just filter their way into the green room now. So as soon as we've got them in there, I'll bring them across. If you want to get involved and run in this series, there's links in the description. All you got to do is get in touch with Greg, and hopefully there's room for you and you can get out there and have a run, because it is, to me, if I wasn't doing the broadcasting every night of the week, I would love to race in a series like this. I think it would be a lot of fun. The MX-5 is a very forgiving car as well, which makes it absolutely enthralling. So, all right, let's grab our drivers now. We've got our race winner tonight and the round winner, Mr. Brenton Hobson. Congratulations, mate. That was a fantastic job out there tonight.
Thanks, man. That was a lot of fun again, like usual.
It looked exciting out there. Obviously, you had Jack Boyd bouncing off you in the first couple of races. But right towards the end there, how about the traffic, just to mix things up and make it a little bit of a fun finish?
I was sitting here saying to myself, I'm like, all right, what's this guy going to do? What's this guy going to do? Just waiting for someone to do something unpredictable. But they all behave themselves in the end. It's, it adds to the excitement of it all, doesn't it? It's gives it a little bit more spice. It
does, mate. And these cars well suited to this track as well. The flow looks pretty good out there.
Yeah, these cars are pretty well suited to most tracks. I think there's not too many we go to that they're not very good at. I'm personally not a fan of this track, just in a general sense, in any car, but
yeah, right.
You combine anything with a bit of high speed in these cars and you just get close racing. There's just no two ways about it. I came out of the pits and had a little gap, and I thought, here we go, and even a couple of seconds just isn't enough. So but it was good. It was good fun again tonight. It's good to have Jack back. It feels like it's been a while since we raced against each other in here, actually, and race 1, less than a tenth of a second, he beat me by again. I'm like, here we go. That's just like back to normal, good old days. But it was good to go against him again tonight, and bang door handles and have some fun.
Yeah, and there was a couple of big sends on the last run into the hairpin as well, but Nick's not here with us. Jack, you are here. Well done, mate. You've raced well tonight. You're back and showing some true form. P3 in the feature race. You probably hope to be up at least another place higher, and probably a win.
Yeah, thank you. It was okay. Been a while since I've been on the sim, so I'm pretty happy with that. But bit of a weird night. Everyone definitely had their wheat bix this morning, that's for sure. It was hard racing in the second race. I think I got knocked back to like 8th or something, and then raced way back forward, and then sorry to hobbo on that last lap there. I just got completely distracted by that car that just might have let off the brake and went straight ahead. And
Kyle, I think it was, wasn't it? Kyle Ridley with the big send.
I thought he was going to collect him. Sorry to hobbo. I almost made the corner, but it was good racing nonetheless.
Fantastic. Well, good to watch. As always, you guys put on a spectacle, so thank you. Let's do the thank yous for our Class A drivers before we then move on to the smaller classes. So first of all, Brenton, who would you like to thank for the win?
Thanks to all the guys in SSR, sponsors, Wave Runner Performance Centre, Smith & Sons, DGD Custom, the Speedway Shop, and any others. And to Jack for coming back and having a race with us again tonight, and anyone else that was running around at the front. It's always good fun, this Monday night stuff. And also to Greg and everyone involved behind the scenes with the league, and you for the broadcast.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for the good entertainment tonight. And Nick Wood not here. P2 outright did a fantastic job. We'll now go to P3. Jack Boyd, who would you like to thank, mate?
Yeah, just as always, yourself for the stream. Greg, I know he's been copping a bit of smack lately, but he's doing a great job. I mean, I missed last week, so I'm not sure what last week was like, but this week I think I counted nearly 40 or 50 cars again, so that's awesome. He's doing a great job. His team are doing an awesome job, and hopefully we can continue for the rest of the season with really good grid sizes.
I don't know why he could ever get smack for what a great job he does, because it is such a big group of personalities to try and manage, and to get 50 or so cars out there every week. That's just a fantastically well-run series. So, yeah, big props to Greg. Thanks to our top 2 in Class A there. Jack, thanks for coming in for top 3 as well, and congratulations. All right, let's move on to Group B now with Lucas, isn't it? So, Lucas Stassi getting the win in Group B. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And tell us about your race out there. You obviously had some good battles when you mixed in with the Group A drivers as well, and you've got a few fast Group C's behind you. What's it like being in that sort of, just outside the top 10 in that area? Busy?
Yeah, it's pretty busy. It's pretty good. Some pretty good battles there. Started sort of a little bit further down the grid. Had a pretty bad race 1, and then somehow managed to finish at the top in race 3. So that was pretty good.
Very good, mate. You got the Simworx race simulators on the side of the car too, so flying the flag for the major sponsor for this series, and great to see you take out a class win. So congratulations. Who would you like to thank?
I'd just like to thank again all the sponsors for putting in a lot of effort, and all the admins as well, all behind the scenes. They do a lot of work, and it's such a great race series with heaps of competitors. I love racing in it. I hope everyone else does too.
Do I say your last name correctly, Lucas?
Yes.
Excellent. Well done, mate. Congratulations on the win. 9 spots you made up in that feature to take out P13 outright and a winning class, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now we go across. We don't have Brad Wooten, I think, took out Group C tonight. We do have, though, Darren with us. Darren Linus, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good. Congratulations on the win in Group D tonight.
Thank you very much.
Now, what's it like out there? Because you're in the slower car, right? So we always, when we flick to the Group C and D cars, they're so quiet. Do they still feel fast enough out there?
They can feel a bit slow when you got the 2016 car rocketing past you, but when you're in it with the C's and D's, yeah, they feel pretty quick.
Great to have you out there, and you've won that last race by a fair margin too, over, I think it was Bud Rodkin who was second in class, and then Stewie Patterson a fair way back. So that's a good performance, mate. And obviously, is your goal then to try and move yourself up into those A and Group B cars?
Yeah, I'd like to get into Group C first, try my go in there. There's some pretty good guys in there. I'd really like to beat Moz. That's my goal for this season.
Fantastic.
Don't think it'll happen, but yeah, give it a go.
Very good. Well, you guys race just as well. I know you don't get as much airtime down the back there, but the Group Ds and Group C definitely put on a great performance. So thank you. Who would you like to thank, mate, for the win in Group D tonight?
Just, all of the sponsors that we got, you yourself. Definitely want to thank Greg for putting on such a wonderful league. I've been here since the beginning, and I'll be here till the end. It's been awesome.
Absolute legend. All right, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming in for a chat too. Well done tonight.
Thank you.
Cheers. All right, that's your top drivers for class tonight, and also our outright winners. Big congratulations once again to Brenton Hobson, who took out the win and the outright win, and Nick Wood, P2, Jack Boyd, your top 3 tonight. That's all we've got time for the Roadster Rumble for another round number 3 tonight here from Hockenheim Ring. Thanks to everyone that tuned in. Massive thanks to everyone over there on the chat. Nick Woods just said, great racing tonight. Thanks to all the sponsors, particularly Greg Holmes and Phoenix Smoke. So there you go. On behalf of Nick for P2, there's his little thank yous. Thanks, Joken, and all the other crew, Will, and others that were here for the whole stream tonight. And big thanks over on Facebook as well, Keith Logan and Graham Ellis leading the stars tonight. Thank you for your support, guys. And until next week when we do it all again, take care. We've got the Sports Sedans back on Wednesday night, and then V8 Veterans on Thursday. So keep in touch. Make sure you subscribe and keep close to the channel. Big thanks to TaipanEvents too for still lending us their YouTube channel. Till next time, I'm Luke. This is Race Stars TV. Good night.